Hello， 大家好，我係 Simon 風，歡迎大家又嚟到移民CHIT Forum 啦。自從今年7月份，澳洲政府推出咗一個移民政策，係惠及港人嘅。佢嗰個結論呢，總括嚟講就係香港人移民澳洲呢就會優先處理啦，就即是快咗同埋易咗嘅。而當中呢，亦都有一個呢叫做 Small Business Owner 嘅一個 scheme。咁就係可以透過呢個 scheme 呢，就係買一盤生意或者經營一盤生意呢，係進行一個移民嘅。咁今日呢，我哋就好開心邀請到我一位好朋友，佢呢就係喺澳洲經營超過10間 coffee shop， 咁啊亦都非常之成功嘅一位年輕創業家 Kelvin。Hello Kelvin， 同觀眾打個招呼先啦。Hello。咁啊，多謝你先。好 ，Kelvin 啊，我知道你以前呢喺澳洲就係做政府工噶噃。咁點解會唔做政府工走嚟做生意呢？
Well, Simon, I felt when I was at my government job, I wasn't really being creative. You know, it was a pretty boring job. You know, I was a whitelist hacker for the government.
但係收入穩定喎。
Yeah, it's very stable. In fact, a good living. But for me, it felt like stability is like a ceiling. It's like a roof, you know, so how far can you really go as an employee?
限制咗你啦。
Of course. And, you know, I found myself, the most enjoyable part of my day was going to the coffee shop, you know, and I thought, you know, if people can make a living doing coffee shops, so can I, right? I mean, I really enjoyed it, so that's why I gave it a try. And not to mention that comparatively, owning my own coffee shop is a much better lifestyle than going to work for the government every day. You know what I mean? Depending on where your location is, you might only work 5 days a week, close at 4 o'clock. You know, so it's also a lifestyle choice.
哇，4點就收工啦。
Yeah, for sure, because you know the government workers, they're all going to go home after 5, so there's no one to buy coffee. So
真係羨慕，其實香港人
Yeah.
4點鐘仲有3-4個鐘先放工。
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, even in the government, you know, you might finish early, like about 5 o'clock, but we're even earlier. So, yeah.
OK， 係咧，咁開一間 coffee shop 要幾錢？
Well, I would budget for about $150,000 to $250,000 Australian.
15萬澳幣
Yes,
至25萬澳幣。
that's right.
哇！咁即是幾十萬至到100萬咁100零萬咁上下，全部即係香港紙。如果港幣嚟計咧，咁80萬可能做到 coffee shop 嘅裝修喺香港。
係啊
OK，
係啊，
但係就成間可以budget 咗就係呢個數
係啊，係咁多嘅咋。
哦 ，OK。
So, besides the startup cost,
哦 ，OK。
you've got your running costs,
Aye.
you know, and we cut it into about thirds. You've got 30% for fixed costs, we've got 30% for staff costs, and approximately 30% profit before tax.
咁要預留幾多錢做 running costs 咧？
Well, if we take the $150,000 example, we might expect to turn over about $300,000 for the first 12 months. So I would probably budget for about $50,000
OK
for term deposit, like lease deposit and things like that.
OK， 預留5萬澳幣就 OK 啦
Yep.
噃。有啲咩風險位咧？即係有啲咩 risk 咧？
Okay.
去 run 呢生
I
意。
mean, apart from doing my own shops, I consult a lot for small businesses, and one of the biggest traps that I see for small businesses is that the owner sits inside the business.
OK，
So they just
owner 唔 sit inside 做咩咧？
yeah. So that's an interesting point. So for me, I was taught to work on the business, not in the business. So if the owner works in the business and never works outside of the business, they get stuck. They've bought themselves a job essentially. You know, and that was one of the things that was taught to me earlier, because if you are stuck in the business, then you can't even sell the business. You know, you need to make the business passive.
原來喺澳洲 run 呢個 small business 就唔好自己得喺度喎，要 out of the business 喎。咁 out of the business 做咩啊？
咁你咪起多間咯。
OK，開過第二間。我想問下呢，喺澳洲裏邊咧 run 一個 small business 咧，澳洲對呢類 small business 個支持啊，或者整體文化係點樣嘅咧？
Okay, so the culture in Australia is very different to Hong Kong. The people in Australia love to support independent brands.
Not the big brand.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we drove Starbucks
Hảo
out of
đặc biệt
our
喎。
out of our shopping centre, which was Melbourne Central, which is like the most prominent shopping centre in Melbourne. And the reason for that is I think the Australian people really love the underdog, and they also really like to support a business where they can actually get to know the owner. You know, they walk in and the owner knows them, they know what coffee they're going to have, and they really cherish that. You know, they're really proud not to support the big corporation actually, which is that's right. It's a very different culture, but it's very suitable for doing small business.
OK， 如果係咁啊，即係對SBO 啦，我哋簡稱 Small Business Owner 咧，係真係有一個優勢喎。咁你點 run 你個coffee shop 嘅生意係run 得咁好呢？
Okay, the two main points that I would say that is what I've learned is staff. Staff is first, and technology being second. So if we talk about staff, I mean, I think one of the main mistakes that small business owners make is that they work in the store and they micromanage everything. But for me, I choose the right staff, give them goals, and give them authority and autonomy to do the job.
Okay.
Because when you empower a staff, then they will do what you need them to do.
Okay.
But when you're on top of them, telling them what to do, that never works. And then you're a slave. You're not a small business anymore, right? You bought yourself a job, right? So that was the key to my success. I mean, we have over 50 staff, and I never hire anybody.
Wow.
I make my staff hire the staff. Because if they have a problem, they have to fire them, not me.
Okay.
I don't have to work for them, so why would I hire them? You know.
Did you say the referral scheme?
No, there was no referral scheme. But you know, they're going to want to hire good staff because that's their team. That's their ship. They're the captain. You know
所以佢
what I
哋
mean?
咧個滿足感同埋責任感就高咗啦。
Absolutely, you have to empower your staff. And
咁 staff 啊？
yeah, so the second is being technology. So we were the hero partner for Square, Square Point of Sale, and we helped them launch their point of sale payment platform in Australia. So they were really big in America already, and they came to Australia, and they chose us to help them launch the platform. So Square is point of sale as well as digital payments. So with that, I could roll out to all my stores, just put an iPad in every store, and every store will be set. You know, I was running 7 stores while living in Japan. I never have to go to any store because all the digital balances, you know, we actually really want digital payments. We don't want cash. There's a hidden cost to cash. Taking it to the bank, counting it. You actually don't want any of these hassles.
哇，咁效率又高咗喎。
Yeah, so the digital payments, we were one of the first cafes to really want digital payments. I mean, we'd love if nobody paid us cash, do you know what I mean? Because it was just so much easier. You know, at the end of the day, I would get an email every store. If it was down, up, we could see the sales real time from anywhere in the world. So technology was one of the things that helped us grow really fast.
咁我想問下啦，喺澳洲呢類嘅 small business owner 咧，small business 咧，我聽你講咧，佢嗰個 transaction 都幾輕易嘅喎，即係個買賣啊。
Yeah, so I mean, back to what I was saying about having an end goal, the Australian market for businesses is actually very live. I mean, we buy and sell, you know, all the time. So, I mean, you could build a business and after 3 years, you would sell it and hopefully for a profit. I mean, most of them would be sold for a profit. You're not just going to close down or just go, you know, that's quite rare. I mean, obviously, assuming you do a good job, you can definitely sell it. So it won't be wasted at all.
Okay. 即使澳洲人個文化會唔會話都幾想創業嘅咧？
Yeah, look, I mean, I feel that most of the businesses, the small businesses done by the people in Australia are not actually the locals. honestly. It's a lot of the ethnic, people that do the small businesses. So yeah,
OK， 亦都有
they're very hardworking. You know what I mean?
OK， 亦都啱啱講到咧，就係有一個移民嘅 scheme 啦，就係買 SB 呢個 small business， 會都令到呢個買賣係多咗嘅，係咪
？I think so. I mean, it's a little bit too early to tell, but as you know, the government has issued a small business owner visa, the 491.
Yes.
And so I think it's a very good avenue for people to come to Australia, get some business experience. They can sell the whatever business they choose afterwards, and then it's a path to permanent residency in Australia, so citizenship. So yeah, so there's a lot of support from the Australian government as well as the community, like the people, the consumers. As you know, the corona epidemic, the government was handing out, wage subsidies and small business grants, and basically helping small businesses stay afloat. They don't want them to die. You know what I mean? There's been rent subsidies and negotiations between the small businesses and the landlords and things like that. So it's actually quite a good place.
即是佢哋 support small business 就喺呢個 COVID-19 裏邊 support small business 個就多過大嘅。
Yeah, that's right.
有冇啲措施啊？
I mean, I don't know the exact figures, but I knew that the government specifically fast-tracked the support for small businesses before the larger corporations. And it was like a lot easier, the barrier to access these kind of subsidies and support was a lot lower for small businesses compared to the larger corporations.
咁樣嘅 ，OK。咁各位觀眾要記住咯喎，原來咧喺澳洲買一個 small business 咧係好少話會賣唔出或者冇晒價值嘅喎嚇。咁最後一條問題啦，想問下，咁我喺澳洲 run 一個 small business， 我需唔需要請一個 accountant 去做呢啲稅務啊咩嘢？
Well, I mean, for me personally, I felt it's always important to employ professionals to do the things that you're not good at. Because in Australia, and probably all countries, the laws are always changing, and the cost of engaging a professional with all the knowledge, who has their ear on the pulse, I mean, is very nominal compared to the mistakes you could make trying to do it yourself. And having a good team around you is actually what's really important for growth. So for me, I always had professional accountants and lawyers, very close by because they help me focus on the business. I don't have to worry about that. So I wouldn't do it any other way for sure.
OK， 專業嘅事就交俾專家去做啦。咁今日咧就好多謝 Kelvin 上嚟同我哋做咗好多small business 嘅分享啦。咁再一次多謝 Kelvin。
Thank you, Simon.
拜拜。